Christmas and Sunday and, Easter and different things like that. And after searching different videos in his channel, I was like, wow, this guy, my words, he's a radical. He was going against and speaking against everything I grew up as a small child knowing to believe. And so I was like, wow, I can't rebut, I can't refute, couldn't do anything to go against what he was saying, but deep down, I knew it was truth to what he was saying. Okay. I grew up in a country called the Turks and Caicos Islands, near the Bahamas. I grew up in a Christian home. Mother and father raised us in a Christian home. Went to Christian schools, Christian academy.
Private schools?
Yep, yes sir. Went to Christian academy. From there, transitioned into a Christian high school. My father was in aviation pretty much all his life. That was what he did. Leave early in the morning, get home late at night, and so it was mostly mom most of the time.
How many siblings do you guys have?
I have 3 older sisters.
Okay.
At the time. I had 3 older sisters, and
it's just you then? It's 4 of you total.
Right.
Okay.
At that time,
Okay.
but now they've had more children.
Okay.
I have more siblings since then.
Okay.
So went to a public high school, and transitioning out of the public high school, it was time to go to college.
Okay.
So my parents started looking for a place for me to do that in the U.S.
Okay.
Because the
So
U.S.
you went
being
to
so
school
close.
This is in Turks. So all this is happening in Turks.
In Turks and Caicos Islands.
Okay.
Right.
So you were born in the United States.
Right. Born in the United States,
Okay.
Miami, Florida.
When you went to Turks?
Immediately after birth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just to have the birth here
Okay.
in the U.S.
Okay. So they had private schools, Christian, and then you went to public school.
Yes.
And just why did your parents decide to go from? I mean, it seemed like they were doing Christian, then boom,
Right.
public school.
That's a good question. Well, at the time, there was only one high school, especially on that island. The island I grew up on was 7 miles long, 2 miles wide at its widest point.
Wow.
There was one high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, no options there.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you ended up going. So that was the public school you went to.
Right.
Okay.
That was the public school.
But most of the, but even though it was a public school, was it pretty much Christian? Because was that the predominant?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We prayed in the mornings. We had devotions in the morning at a public school.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a Christian country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you went there, and so after you done all that stuff, then you went to. You said that you were going to tell us about your college life now. So
Yes, they wanted me to go off into college, but they didn't want it to be a college experience where you're partying, you're having fun, no real accountability to anybody or anything. So they found a school called Pensacola Christian College.
Okay.
And
where's that located?
Pensacola, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. Very strict school.
Like, what made it strict? Because everybody say every college is strict.
They do, right? Well, we had curfews. If you wanted to go off campus, say to the store or something, you had to actually scan out on a computer, and you had pre-selected locations on where you could go, and you had a pre-selected time on when you had to be back.
Even okay. This is living on campus.
This is living on
So
campus.
you lived on campus.
I was a campus student.
Your whole 4 years.
Whole 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So your parents wanted to make sure.
Yes.
So there was no off campus and.
There was none of that.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
And I was 16 years old when I went.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 16.
Okay, you were pretty young. So
I was very young.
I mean, that's pretty young. I mean, obviously that says that you're highly intelligent, but is it the school system, or was that just you, or your prodigy? I mean,
my birthday was 17, and I would be 17 in December, so
okay.
I was a year early. I guess
early.
you could say.
Was school hard for you, or did it come easy or hard?
School was work for me.
Okay.
That was work.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're pretty young.
I was young.
Pretty young,
Yeah.
But you
I was
got
young.
through it.
I made it.
You know what I mean?
I'm alive.
So okay, so you're 4 years ago. What was your major?
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice.
Why did you end up getting into that major?
Well, I actually had no interest in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, the family business was aviation. My dad was a pilot for 40 years or so. That's what I wanted to do, but
Okay.
he was trying to steer me away from that. You know,
Okay.
trying to have something more, I guess, for me, you could say. But they decided to send me to college instead of going off to a flight
Okay.
school. And my parents, I guess they collaborated and they showed me my options. They were like, hey, this is where we're going to send you to school. Which one of these look interesting to you?
Mm.
So
when you went to college, did you now obviously you went to a Christian college, but
I did.
you now you're on your own away from the home? Did you take going to church seriously, or did you just how would you describe your religious experience? I guess in college.
religious experience was definitely in my upbringing, my being raised in a Christian home. It was always to follow Christ,
Okay.
so that was very important to me. So I really didn't mind going to a Christian school and it being as strict as it was, because I would say I'm a pretty disciplined person. You know what I mean? So it wasn't difficult. It wasn't at all
So you were
difficult.
sold out already.
I was sold out.
What age would you say in your upbringing where you made a commitment to I'm going to follow Jesus Christ? Like it just seemed like it's even before college.
It's probably 12 or 13 years
12,
old.
13.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
So you were committed.
Oh, yeah.
So when you went to public, like you said, public school was even Christian and everything like that. So then I heard that you found your wife at this college.
I did.
Okay.
2003.
Okay.
2003
Okay.
at Pensacola.
And what was her major?
Same.
Same major?
Criminal
Okay, so
justice.
you guys know.
Yes, sir.
So you graduated,
Yes, sir.
and then what you ended up doing after college? Like what you end up doing?
So my plan was still to get into aviation after college. So I did exactly that.
Mhm.
About a year and a half after college, I went into flight school and I did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you fly?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So maybe I can hire you as a private pilot or something.
I'm
like that.
available.
Okay. So you went there, and so what year did you graduate? 2005, you said?
2006.
2006, you graduated, right?
Yeah.
So how long? So what were you doing from the point of 2006? You're married. I'm assuming you're having a family, or
Mhm.
what you doing aviation now, or no?
No, not
What are
now.
you doing now?
I work at a distribution center.
Distribution. Okay.
Mhm.
So what were you doing from that point before you came into contact with Straightway?
Before I came into Straightway, we lived in Daytona Beach,
Okay.
because that's where I went to flight school.
Okay.
I guess I could back up from there.
Yeah.
After college, I moved back home for about a year and a half. I moved back to Turks and Caicos Islands
Okay.
for about a year and a half, and got money stored and saved up to get married.
Okay.
And me and my wife, Tamika, we married in 2008,
Okay.
July of 2008.
Okay.
Then we moved to Daytona Beach, Florida, where I went to flight school, and yeah.
Are you going to church still?
Yeah,
What
definitely.
What type of church were you going to in Daytona?
We were Baptist, independent Baptist churches.
Okay. Okay.
Where we went.
Was it a white church, black church? What type?
Predominantly white,
White?
Caucasian.
Okay. So you have
Caucasian
so
church.
now when you were in the islands, right? Was that was a black church? I'm assuming.
Definitely.
Definitely church.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, why did you end up going to more of a white church? Was it just their doctrine, or was it the schooling? I mean,
I guess after being in college for so long with predominantly white church,
Okay.
just transitioned
just
over into
transitioned,
yeah.
okay. So now you're going to church. Were you involved in the church? How was your involvement in the church in the Florida area?
We traveled around to a few different churches, so we didn't have like a committed, role in any of those churches. But
Okay.
yeah, we definitely took
Was
part.
that on purpose?
No, not exactly. We just didn't find one that we wanted to settle down
And what were
with.
you looking for? Like, what was it that you were looking for that made you feel like you just?
I guess more of a personable relationship with members and the pastors.
Mhm.
I'll tell you a story. Once
Yeah.
upon a time, I was at my day job,
Okay.
and the pastor came in, and I kind of waved. He had no idea, no
Mhm.
idea who I was.
Mhm.
I was like, "Whoa, check
didn't
this
know
out."
who you were.
He didn't know who I was.
Wow.
And the church wasn't even really that big,
Wow.
but he didn't.
What was the numbers?
I don't know, probably 100 or so people.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, but on Sunday he knew who you were.
I guess.
Okay. So now you're going to church, and then how did you run into? You have an interesting story how you came across Straightway. How did you come across Straightway Ministry?
Well, the backstory to that is I was introduced to a portion of truth, I guess you could say.
Okay.
I was aware of different things in the history of America, I guess, as far as incidents like Ruby Ridge,
Mhm.
Waco, Texas incident, 9/11.
So what made you look up those incidents?
Well, I guess after
Because they all kind of have some similarities.
they do. You get on one, and you just continue searching and searching and searching. One search will lead you here, one search will lead you over there, and you just down the rabbit hole you go. It's just
So what was it about them? Because these are all like cults or people living from getting off the grid. A lot of these people are off the grid, so they have a lot of common. Did you feel that they had truth? What was it about?
yeah. Well, as far as the banking system goes,
Yep.
like I mentioned before, I knew that United States, if not the world, was at some point going to have some sort of collapse. And so wherever I could find what I thought was truth at the time, I was looking for it,
Okay. So once and then is it during that time you ran into Pastor Dowell, looking into Waco?
During that time, looking on YouTube, for some reason I was trying to build an AR-15 is what I was trying to do.
Okay.
And somebody made a comment about this man's AR-15, and I saw the channel name. The channel name said Pastor Dowell. I was like, wow, and that was interesting to me. And immediately thinking pastor, I thought a Christian pastor. Christians are usually anti-firearm, gun, anything. You know what I mean? So I was like, I need to listen to what this guy is saying. I was like, my words were, "This is my kind of pastor." And I clicked on the video, and it was video after video after video after video. And
So you're looking up AR-15.
AR-15,
And
something
it
totally different.
totally
different.
And then you see as a pastor.
I see a pastor.
So what was it that you saw that made you go from one video to the next video? It was just
Well, my shepherd, Pastor Charles Dowell Jr., very wise man. He is a good fisherman, so to speak, and he uses different baits for different catches. And what he did was the AR-15 was the subject of the video, but he dropped little bits of hints inside that video that made me go like, whoa, Christmas and Sunday and Easter and different things like that. And after searching different videos in his channel, I was like, wow, this guy, my words, he's a radical. He was going against and speaking against everything I grew up as a small child knowing to believe. And so I was like, wow, I can't rebut, I can't refute, couldn't do anything to go against what he was saying, but deep down, I knew it was truth to what he was saying. Man, it was... in the Christian church, you would never hear them talk about or teach about living a biblical life, about setting yourself apart and being sold out for Christ. And their dedication to it was, man, it was inspiring to me. And I wanted to be a part of it in whatever way I could possibly be a part of it. And definitely encouraging, seeing the grassroots of where they came from, the sacrifices they made. And it was a big light for me, because it gave a new meaning to the word a living sacrifice. Continuous sacrifice is what you see here, and it just encouraged me to try to be the same,